any day now. To be honest, I thought this would happen quicker. This is so exciting. By the way, I know these gloves are way too small. One size fits all on Amazon, apparently. Clearly it doesn't. Oh my word. Ta-da! Bit cold. Hello everybody, and welcome to a video about, well, it's about three things. As you might expect, it's about prints. It's also a bit of a channel update, and it's a Q&A, because, well, I was meant to do that a week or two ago, but forgot. Now, I imagine there are some of you watching who might not be interested in all three of those elements. I've time-stamped each of those parts of the video so that you don't have to sit through anything you don't want to watch. Just pop these back on. So you might remember a month or so ago, I guess, I introduced this printer that I bought, the Canon Pro S10, the Canon Pro 10S. And it came in a huge box, and it's taken me about a month to learn how to set it up. I had to buy a USB cable and stuff because it wouldn't connect over Wi-Fi, which I was warned about, but I tried it, and lo and behold, it didn't work. But anyway, I've got it working now, and as you've just seen, I've started printing things. Now, the reason I bring this up is because about a month before that, I was talking about how I was going to sell prints as well as my absolutely nothings in order to get some more money into this channel and therefore help me create more and better content. Now, as you might remember, and I can't remember which video I was talking about it in, but I was talking about how with these prints, so I've got my composite prints that I've been selling on my site for a while, but these prints, these were going to be sold for a very limited amount of time, so like 24 hours or 48 hours or a week or something, and then you'd never be able to buy them again. And the thinking behind that was that I wanted you to benefit most, you being people that have found this channel, you know, pretty early on. You know, I want to be working on this channel in sort of 10 or 15 years time, so on that time scale, you guys are, you know, you're here pretty early. I mean, you're like the first people into the office. In fact, no, you're like the cleaners who are in before the first people into the office. You're maybe even the builders building the building that people are gonna, or the architects. Point is, I wanted to find a way to reward people that had found the channel early, and having access to prints that people coming later down the line didn't have access to, I thought was a good way of doing things. So the initial idea was to sell a particular print for like a week or so, and then after that week you'd never be able to buy it again. But then somebody pointed out to me that if I go to like an epic location and I get some sort of really amazing shot, but for whatever reason my views are really low on one particular video and not enough people see it to buy it, that would basically mean I was completely missing the point of doing the prints in the first place, which was to raise money for the channel. So what I've decided to do is still limit the number of prints that I make, but after the initial week that they're available for, they'll still be available provided that the edition hasn't sold out. So each print that I do, you're going to be able to get 50 of them. If 50 haven't sold, then they'll still be available after the week, but they'll be double the price. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to kick this process off with two different photos. This one is, you might recognise from a couple of months ago when I was back in Wales shooting a place called Tryfan, and this is just a nice shot with some nice flowing water and then clouds going over the mountain. I really like this picture. So yeah, I'm going to sell this one and this one, which I took in the Lake District last week. Now, as you can see, they're different sizes. This is A3 and this is A4, and I'm going to be selling both of them at both sizes, and as I say, each size and each photo will be available in an edition of 50. I don't know if I'm making sense or not with this process. Let me know. Now, these are printed on my favourite paper, which is Hahnemuhle German etching. Actually doesn't say German etching anywhere on there. Oh, the sticker. So yeah, German etching, which if you've seen or used before, you'll know is a really nice sort of textured paper that I think adds loads and loads of atmosphere. It's not great for sort of pulling out the deepest of colours or the most sharpness, but what I love about it is, yeah, it just gives a bit of atmosphere to an image, and I just think prints look great on it. Oh, hot again. Now, in terms of packing and shipping, all prints will be wrapped in acid-free tissue paper. Then they'll be put in CeeLo bags. Then the A4 ones will be guarded with 2 sheets of cardboard and then stuck in a please do not bend envelope. And the A3s will be rolled up and put into tubes. I think in future I would like to find a way to ship the A3s flat, but this time this looked like the easiest way to do it. So A3s will come rolled up in a tube. Also, for those of you that got a calendar from me, you'll know that my handwriting isn't all that good. Luckily, all the calendars made it to their addresses. I don't know how with my handwriting, but I thought I didn't want to risk it this time, so I bought a label maker, which hopefully should mean that you will get your prints. So in the first week of sale, the A4s are going to be £25 free shipping, and the A3s are going to be £40 with free shipping. After that initial week, the A4s will be £50 and the A3s will be £80. Got there in the end. And typically the prints that I sell will have some kind of relationship to the video that you've just watched. So if you just watched a vlog of me in a certain location, chances are that if I'm selling a print, it's from that location and it was taken throughout the course of that video. But for this kind of trial run, I've just picked a couple of images that are my favourites over the past few months, and I'm only doing 2 because I don't know this process and I don't want to confuse it, and I don't want it to be too drawn out. I want to just learn exactly how to do everything properly. Before we get a bit more complicated and I try and do, 5 or 10 at once, I didn't want to do that to start with. So yeah, in addition to my composite prints, 2 more prints are now available, and they will be, well, I was going to say they will be for the next week, but they will be for a period of time until they're sold out. And the first week from right now, although you might be watching this in the future, the first week from when this video goes live, they'll essentially be half price, and that'll be the same for all prints going forward. Also, they'll all be signed. I don't know if that makes them more valuable to you, but in theory at least it should make it more valuable. Thanks a lot. So for the past couple of months, as you might have noticed, I've tried my very best to get 2 videos out every week. And I haven't always succeeded. In fact, a lot of the time I haven't succeeded, but I've tried my best to get a video out every Wednesday and every Sunday. Now, if you've followed this channel for a while, this will be an incredibly boring topic because I've back and forthed on the issue of quality versus quantity for, well, as long as this channel's been around, basically. But anyway, the long and short of it is this. I have found that trying to make 2 videos a week that are entertaining and informative and just generally useful is a stupid idea. So when I started the Absolutely Nothings that some of you guys have bought, and it's been overwhelming and incredibly helpful, the point of those things was that I'd get more funding for the channel and therefore would be able to dedicate more time to the channel. And broadly speaking, that's exactly what's happened. I've been spending much more time making videos. I think the problem has come though with my interpretation of more. So I was thinking that because people were helping fund the channel, or people were watching, or you just being nice in the comments, whatever it was, I thought that I needed to try my hardest to make more videos. And in actual fact, I got away from the original purpose of trying to find funding for the channel, which was spending more time making videos and not necessarily making more videos. In other words, sometimes I think what it means when you buy Absolutely Nothings or prints is not necessarily that I'm going to produce more videos. It might just be that I can spend more time on videos and therefore those videos are better. And as I said before when I was talking about prints, I want this channel to run for 10 or 15 years longer. I still want to be doing this for a long, long way into the future, and we're still very much in the fog of this channel, I think. Like, I don't really know what direction I want it to go in the future. I'm still kind of mapping that out and trying to work that out. But what I know for sure is that in 5 years' time, I want to be able to look back at all my videos and be proud of them. And if I look back at the last 2 or 3 months of videos, most of them I think could have been considerably better if I hadn't placed kind of fake deadlines on myself in order to just get a dopamine hit of seeing a new video, getting lots of new views, or thinking that I'm helping other people, because the chances are that I'm not if I'm not producing really, really good videos. So as this channel grows, I'm going to be spending more and more time on it, hopefully making better videos and hopefully also making more videos. But in the past, I've tried to commit to a certain number of videos, mainly because I've heard from loads and loads of people that consistency is key on YouTube. And I think to an extent it is. But also, good videos is key on YouTube. And I think that's more important than making sure I have a video go out every Wednesday or every Sunday or whatever it might be. So what I'm saying, I guess, is that some weeks I'll be doing 3 videos, some weeks I'll be doing 4, and other weeks it might take me 2 weeks to produce a really good video. And I think what I found over the last couple of months is that for me, a really tight strict schedule, I don't think is going to be the way forward for me and my content. Just because there are lots of things that impact on when I can do videos and how well I can do them. And I don't want to just release a video just because it's got to the time that I typically release a video. I want to release it because it's finished, because it's ready, because it's helpful, and because I think it's good. And yeah, hopefully you agree with that. That's it for the channel update. Hopefully you understand. Let me know in your comments below. Yeah. By the way, me talking about a filter for videos and making sure that they're good before they go out, that doesn't include this one. I mean, this one might be terrible, but I'm just telling you what the future plan is. And so this one might be really bad, but hopefully other ones in future. Okay, so Q&A. As I said, I forgot to do this last week. And with this Q&A, I think in the past, actually, I've done this as well, but I'm going to try and sort of group questions into topics rather than answering all the individual questions, because first question, are you into night shots and night shooting? I haven't done all that much night photography or astrophotography or anything like that, to be honest. Funnily enough, I was with Nigel Danson the other day, who I've introduced on a previous video, I think. The one where I'm talking about why I don't like tripods, which funnily enough is a case in point of what I've just been talking about in terms of quality versus quantity. I mean, I spent 8 or 9 minutes just talking to a camera in a forest about why I don't like tripods. I mean, going forward, I'm imagining I'm not going to consider that a quality video. So anyway, yeah, I introduced Nigel. I was with him the other day and we found a cracking location potentially for some really cool night shots with some LEDs and stuff. So watch this space for night shots. The Panasonic G9, am I enjoying it? A few people asked this. Yes, very much so. I love the G9. I am finding the typical frustrations I think that anybody finds with any new camera, and that is not knowing where everything is and not knowing the camera off by heart. So that's been a bit less of a problem than it usually is with a new camera for this camera, solely because I had a loan unit out from Panasonic for 2 months, so I kind of got to know the G9 a bit then. And since having my own, I've certainly got more and more familiar with it. But I'm the kind of person and photographer who likes to know the camera inside out. Like, I want to be able to change all the settings without having to look down at the menu, or I want to know where all the buttons are and what everything does and what I've got everything set to. And whenever you've got a new camera with new menus and new features, it's going to take a bit of time to get used to. So that's the process that I'm in at the moment. But in terms of output and in terms of comfort and in terms of how much I enjoy using it, 10 out of 10. What areas of the UK should I visit, and how many days of rain per month do you get? Okay, so I'll answer the second one first. 29, 30. And do you know what? The UK, I think, gets a bit of a bad rep for its weather. It's not great weather, to be honest. It's always unpredictable. Probably 60% of days are overcast. I'd say maybe 3 or 4 days out of 10 there is some rain. I mean, typically in the UK what you find is that a lot of days do contain some rain, but it's not like constantly raining on the rain days. You know, you might get a shower or something, but the weather, it's not as bad as people say it is. In terms of areas to go, if you're coming from abroad, you might fly into London. If you do, spend a bit of time in London, definitely. It's a world-class city by any measure. But from there, I would suggest maybe just heading north. A lot of the national parks and a lot of the mountains and a lot of the really amazing kind of coasts are north of London. So yeah, jump in the car, head north, head to all the national parks that are north of London, including in Scotland and in Wales, and you shouldn't go too far wrong. What direction are you taking your photography in? Is it travel, lifestyle, or something else? I think before I mentioned this channel being kind of in its infancy in some ways, and I kind of still have a bit of a head fog about where it's going and what the plan is, and where I kind of see it in 5 or 10 years time. I'd say much the same thing about my photography. So I've been working as a photographer coming up to 18 months now, and predominantly most of my jobs have been composite work. So I've been hired to do the kind of thing that I've made a name for myself for, which makes sense. I mentioned a couple of months ago now that I'd lost my mojo a little bit for that kind of work, and I wasn't particularly enjoying it, and I was having a bit of a break from that kind of photography. And the desire to do that kind of work still hasn't come back. So at the moment, I'm still doing some jobs in composite stuff, but in terms of personal time and in terms of making these videos, I don't know why it's doing that, it's not printing anything. I'll speak over it. So yeah, in terms of personal work and just video stuff, I'm just doing whatever I fancy doing at any given time, and at the moment that's kind of the outdoors and mountains and stuff, but I certainly wouldn't rule anything out for the future, and that's one of the benefits of finding myself in this position with a growing channel, is that the future looks kind of unknown in many ways, and I think I will have the flexibility to, in some ways, just work on whatever takes my fancy at any given time. And obviously there'll be restrictions to that, but I perhaps have more flexibility than other people in terms of what I'm shooting and what I'm enjoying photographing. So the short answer is I don't really know. One word actually on that. A lot of people ask me things like, how do I find my style in photography? And I think it's important to understand why some people feel a need for a style and why some people advise that you have a style. Styles artistically are not important. Styles commercially are important. So if you want to be a photographer and you want to earn your living by people hiring you for your photography, then it's important you have a style, because when people know what they want, they can hunt for photographers, and if you fit the bill, you'll be hired for that job. Whereas if you shoot all kinds of different things, people won't know what to hire you for. So if you want to work commercially, having a style is important. But if you're just a hobby photographer, if you just want to take photos for fun, if you don't have any sense that you want to earn money from photography, or that you see the majority of your future in photography, then you don't need a style. You can just shoot whatever you want. As I say, artistically, it doesn't matter if you have a style or not. Shoot whatever the hell you want to shoot. You only really need to worry about a style if you want to be hired. Have you got any travel planned, and are you going to do workshops abroad at any point? I haven't even thought about workshops in this country, to be honest, but at some point in the future I might do. I'm kind of slowly saying no to more and more jobs with the hope of having more time for things like workshops. So we'll see. Watch this space, I guess. In terms of travel, I'm sorting out a few different things for the near future and also later on this year, and I'll update you on those as and when they happen. The first of those is later this month. For 5 or 6 days, I'm going on a bit of a road trip with another YouTuber. I'll tell you a bit more about that closer to the time, but we're basically going to go from Croatia up to Germany through Slovenia and Austria. So that should be good. And I'll bring you along for the ride. Tell us more about your bracketing. Do you take 3 or 5 shots? Are you bracketing for focus or exposure? And is it possible to align handheld? Okay, so typically I bracket for 5 shots. I bracket for exposure, and can you do it handheld? Yes, in some cases. So one of the biggest advantages for me for the G9, I'm pointing because it's there, I had it set up as a secondary camera but then decided I couldn't be bothered. One of the best things about the G9 is, yes, it's stabilization. So typically you can handhold shots for either long exposures or exposure bracketing, but also the other big advantage for me is that it shoots images very, very quickly, which means that there's less of a gap between each of the bracketed exposures that you take. And what that means is that you can take 5 exposures, providing you've got enough light, in like a super fast amount of time, which means the camera's not going to shake or move around in that time. So with the G9, I'm finding it's super easy to handhold for 5 exposures. With previous cameras I've had before, it's not been quite so easy. With my D750, for example, it wasn't quite as easy to handhold for 5 exposures, but then I never really needed 5 exposures with the D750 because the dynamic range was so good. So it's one of those. Would you consider a speed booster for Micro Four Thirds? No, not really. One of the reasons I got into Micro Four Thirds was weight and size, and the weight and the size of the lenses to me is much more impressive than the weight and the size of the bodies. So if I was to use a Micro Four Thirds body and then just get another full frame or whatever other kind of lens, that would just defeat the point for me, because the G9 is pretty much as big as the full frame cameras I've had in the past. So no, I wouldn't see the benefit in that. Plus the fact the 12 to 35 Panasonic and the 35 to 100 Panasonic that I've recently bought, I love them. They are phenomenal lenses, so no, I don't see a need to use speed boosters. I'm going to buy an 80D soon. Should I get the kit lens or something different? I'm going to do a video about prime lenses and why beginners can benefit from prime lenses. I think I might even do that next, the next video I do. That said, kit lenses are typically a really good place to start, and when they're supplied in a kit, you usually get a really good deal on them. And it does depend on the system, because some kit lenses are better than others. Some of them are an absolute steal and others are best avoided, so look at reviews. But I would suggest that if you're a complete beginner and you're getting a new camera or you're getting into a new system, that normally, more often than not, kit lens is a good way to go because you're getting a big discount and because they're quite versatile and they're just a good place to start. But I'm not sure about the 80D specifically. I've never had one of those, and I don't know what the kit lens is. So as I say, maybe look at reviews to see how good the kit lens is. And finally, what kind of name is Popsys? It's Lithuanian, I think. I don't know anything about it other than that. Right, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I'm hoping that I don't have to do another video here. I mean, it works quite well doing videos here, but it takes about an hour to set it all up and an hour to take down my lights and move my mic and my cameras and stuff. So it's just not ideal, and it's not particularly time. You know what I mean. So yeah, all being well with our new house, we should be moving into that in a couple of months, and I think I can probably go a couple of months without having to do another video sat here. So say goodbye to this makeshift living room set. Been good while it's lasted, but I'm hoping the builders and the trains won't be interrupting this channel anymore. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully this is the least good video that I put out on this channel going forward. Hopefully they're all just much better going forward because the emphasis is going to be more on quality. We'll see.